Hey, let's talk about soul. Can we? Let's talk about TV. Let's talk about all the things behind the scenes. So can we talk about it? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Hi, I'm Alora.
And I'm Trisha.
And I'm Stella.
And welcome to
Let's Talk About Soaps.
Today we have a great show. The continuation on our special, The Heart of Daytime. We will not only be talking about The Heart of Daytime, we have The Heart of Daytime right here with us. Joining us all the way from Las Vegas by Skype, Catherine Hickland, better known as Lindsay Rapapor from One Life to Live.
My every move. Why should we wait for a while?
No one has ever treasured me for just being me, with no strings attached. Nora? Lindsay?
Now, before we start this interview, I have a couple people I want to thank. I want to thank Penny Monserratos from the Jackson Posse, who introduced us to Jillian, Catherine's assistant. Thank you both for making this interview happen.
And as you can see, we have 3 books on the table, and this is Catherine's book, and it is titled The 30-Day Heartbreak Cure. So if you've ever experienced heartbreak, she gives a prescription on how to get over the heartbreak. We are so excited to talk to her about her book.
Yes, and also we'll be talking to Catherine about her career, of course, to y'all soap fans on One Life to Live, and also her career, because she also made a CD and she did Broadway. We'll be talking about all of that today.
Yep, and the CD is called Sincerely Broadway.
Yes.
And also, since it's so close to Valentine's Day, we'll be talking about Catherine's cosmetic line, Cat Cosmetics. She'll be giving us a few suggestions on a couple looks for our dates. Hopefully she can tell us about what we need to use to get the first date look, the innocent look, the everyday look.
Yes.
Okay.
And forget about the going out look.
Oh, the going out look.
You gotta go out for Valentine's Day. Yes. So, Catherine, how are you doing?
Really great.
Wow.
So happy to be with you girls.
Yeah.
You look like a bunch of fun girls.
It's a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, welcome.
Yeah, it's good.
So, Catherine, first of all, we got to ask you, because the soap fans want to know, what made you get into acting, and when did you start?
Oh, my God. Well, I knew I was going to be an actress from the time I was, I think, about 4. I really just knew it. I knew it as I knew it. And
Wow.
I couldn't figure out how I was going to get out of a small town. I was born and raised in Fort Lauderdale, which is now a big town. But when I was there, it was a little swamp town. And I couldn't imagine how I was going to get out of there and become a Hollywood actress. But I became a flight attendant when I was, I think, just turned 18, and what that did was allow me to fly for free. So I would fly on my days off, and I got an apartment with another stewardess or two, and studied acting and auditioned for things, and then it happened kind of quick back then.
Wow.
For me, and I was able to quit my job and move to Los Angeles full time. But I always wanted to be on soaps. That was just something I knew.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, how did you get your first role on One Life to Live?
Well, my One Life to Live was not my first role. It was actually like my 4th or 5th role. But as far as how I got on that show, and this is a really good lesson for people in tenacity, because I really always wanted to be on One Life to Live, and I auditioned for the role of Tina. I
Oh, really? Wow.
screen tested for that role, and another actress got it, and then I screen tested for Luna. Yeah, I screen tested for Luna, didn't get that.
Wow.
And I was doing a show for them. Huh? Yeah, no, I mean, I was heartbroken every time, but you know what's funny is that it just goes to show you, if you believe in faith and live your life that way, the truth is that Lindsay, for me, was a much better character than either one of those characters for different reasons for me. Yeah, and so she was really well worth waiting for, and I spent 11 amazing years on that show. And
I would say so.
How I got it was I wrote the president of ABC letter and told her how much I wanted to be on the show.
Wow.
And they had a one-day role. She gave the letter to Jill Farron Phelps, who was the executive producer. And she called me at home and asked me if I wanted to play a one-day role for Lindsay Rapapor. It was just one day. And I had already starred on many soap operas at that time.
Okay.
And I felt like, oh, wow, one day, you know, geez, I mean, come on. And I mean, it was that kind of thing. And then I realized that that was my ego talking, and that really what was happening was I was an actress that was looking for a job, and I should, you know, take that one-day role and do my very best. And so that's what I did. And next thing you know, 11 great years.
Wow, we love you for it. We love Lindsay.
Now, Catherine, you mentioned that you played on other soap operas. What are the other soap operas that you played on?
Well, I was on a show called Another World, and we spun off to a new show called Texas was in 1980. And then after I left NBC and that show, I went to Los Angeles, and I was on a CBS show called Capital, and that was 5 or 6 years there. And then after that, I was on Loving, The City, both ABC shows, and then One Life to Live.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Catherine, what was your favorite storyline on One Life to Live?
Yes. You know, when people ask me that, I hardly ever know what to answer because they were all so fantastic. But I have to say, I really think that my prison storyline was the best because I got to work with all these great Broadway actresses, and we did the live episode during that time, and then the girl that played Allison Perkins, she and I had my character to prison, and I was really sad because I thought that that was going to be the end of my job. And
Well, so what is your most challenging role? Like, which one did you kind of struggle with, or you had to, you know, take some time to get into character, or you just couldn't, you know, you just couldn't hit it?
Well, you know, I don't think there's a role, when you're an actor for all your life, there's not a role you really can't play. And, you know, I don't, I mean, I don't put limits on myself in that way, and that's just who I am. But I must say, I think Lindsay was the most challenging role because she's so unlike me in many ways.
Wow.
And, I'd have to gear myself up before I would walk into the studio every day, and it was very exhausting some days because she was very mean, tough, and scary, and, you know, and dark. So I had to constantly, you know, find those places inside me. That was not easy.
Well, that segues perfectly into the next question. On Nora and Lindsay are arch enemies on the show, but you're friends with Hillary off screen. How does that work? How is someone your arch enemy, of course, in pretend land, but then in real life they're, you know, really good friends with you? How does that work?
Well, you know, I just think that we respected each other's work so much before we worked together. We were really big fans of each other from all the years of us each being in this business. And so, you know, I knew I was working with a great actress, and she was fantastic. And we used to laugh and laugh and laugh in between scenes. And I will tell you that we wet our pants more than a few times.
Now, Lindsay, well, Catherine, I'm going to ask you about, as being Lindsay, how was it playing with your leading man when you and Nora fighting over, of course, Robert S. Woods as Bo Buchanan? How was it acting with him as your leading man?
Well, Bob Woods is probably one of the greatest people I've ever known, and we've known each other for over 30 years. So it was really wonderful to be able to work with him. What a great actor, what a great human being. And gosh, he's so talented, and Hillary was so talented, and I mean, I just felt like so blessed every day because I got got to work with such talented people.
Wow.
And I have to say, I mean, I'm a big fan of All My Children and other soaps, but I just think One Life to Live had the best stable of actors, and it was such an honor for me to work with them. It really was.
Wow.
So Paul wasn't the only leading man. Let's talk a little bit about Ty Tradeaway or Troy MacGyver. Okay, so you chained him to a wheel, right?
Yes, I chained him to a wheel, shirtless.
Can you talk about that moment?
And yeah, that way. Oh God, way to this day is one of my very best friends.
Okay.
We share the same birthday. We celebrate our birthdays together every year.
Wow.
And he's fantastic, and I adore him. He's just a great guy, and I thought he was fantastic in that role, and his other role, because you know he played Colin too.
Oh, wow.
Now, your partner in crime on the show is Randall James, better known as RJ. What was it like working with him?
Oh, you know what? Okay, you guys are really going to appreciate this. Okay, so they came to us and they told us we were going to be working in a storyline together, and he seemed very upset by this. And so I said to him, "Wow, you know, like, what's up? I don't bite. I'm really, you know, okay, and you don't see about this at all." And he said, "Well, I'm not happy about it." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Because the sisters are not going to go for this."
Oh,
I love
no, we don't.
We're not complaining.
We loved it. We loved our two together.
I was kind of jealous.
Yeah.
I was just a little jealous. Just a little bit, but it's all right.
Okay, but what about Lawrence Ledoux, better known as Sam, the father of your children?
Yeah.
Who you know, the one?
Yes. Oh,
who you
he
killed by
was really
accident?
cute. I really liked him, and I was
Killed him by accident?
well, I did. It was an accident. It was an accident.
You thought it was Troy?
I thought it was Troy.
Right.
Yeah, but you know, I felt bad because I knew he was going to be losing his job, and of course, you know, you don't ever want to be the person to be doing that to another character. But as it turns out, I was like the Grim Reaper. I was always killing some.
Well, I got one more man. There's 3 men in here.
Yeah, you can't forget, yeah.
John Paul, or Rex, who you had a hot, steamy affair with.
Yes.
Talk about that.
I'll talk about that because that's another funny thing. John Paul was a brand new actor, very gifted right out of the box, and very cocky kid, but I liked him a lot, and he was very cute, and he had never had an on-screen kiss. And imagine his first on-screen kiss was with somebody that's old enough to be his mother, and so I felt really bad for him. You know, I felt like, oh God, this poor kid. You know, but he did okay. You know, I mean, I think he was just scared to death.
I love that.
And I was also just really concerned about his mental well-being, so it all came out pretty good. We had a great time together. I think he's very talented.
He is.
Okay, Catherine, this is for the soap fans. Can you give us a juicy behind-the-scenes story, like what happened behind the scenes on the set?
You're asking me if I can give a juicy behind-the-scenes
Yes,
story?
we want to know.
Have you been reading any of my interviews lately? I've been really good about yes. Okay, a juicy behind-the-scenes story. Let's see here. Yes. Well, you know, I can't name names because, you know, it's just not nice. But I will tell you this: there was a certain actress on the show that did not like me when I got there. Okay, and she. Didn't like me at all, and I was very upset by this because I admired her so much, and I don't know, you know, she had her reasons, and I usually don't care if someone doesn't like me because, you know, I understand that's life, and sometimes you just have a bad chemistry with somebody. You can't really do anything about it.
True.
But she would have the cameramen turn off their light. There's a little red light on the top of a camera. When you're on camera, your little light goes on and you know that you're on camera. And you know, I don't say that I play to that light, but that light is, you know, my whole life I was used to seeing that light, and when that light came on, I knew that that was my camera, and I just liked knowing kind of what was going on. And she knew that, so she asked the cameramen to shut all their lights off. She was torturing me all the time, and I ended up behind one of the sets, and I cried, and, you know.
Wow.
Now, the end of this sad story is that I went to the producer and said, what should I do? Because, you know, I really want to change this for the better, and I wanted to go to her and see if it, you know, there was anything we could do to make this a better working relationship. And the producer said, no, don't go anywhere near her, leave her alone. Anyway, I ended up taking that matter into my own hands and asking her, you know, what the problem was, if I had done something that was offensive. And she told me what it was, and I apologized and told her, you know, that how I wanted so much for this to be different, and it asked if she'd be willing to start over and give me a chance, and she said yes.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Really important, the message behind that story, because, you know, if someone is acting odd to you, you owe it to yourself to heal it with love as much as you can, and almost every time it'll work for you. You know, so don't do wrong to make a right. And if I had just said, oh, well, screw that, I'll just be as nasty as she's being, it would have made my friend there terrible, and I wouldn't have made friends with a wonderful person, which I did, you know, so it was great.
Okay, Catherine,
You know.
you spoke earlier about how you had so much fun during the last scene when you broke out of jail with the other co-actors. How did it feel? Was it emotional? I mean, how was it for you during the last show on One Life to Live?
You know, no, it wasn't emotional for me because I had been off the show for quite a bit, and so I had been able to reconcile the end of that show for myself. And but it was emotional for me to see the crew and the other actors, because I knew that they were going to be out of a job, and that the fans would be out of a show, and that was very upsetting to me to know that that the show, that's, you know, it's funny, that show and many other soaps, but this genre is something, it's like an old friend that's been there for people through thin, hard times, through divorce, death in the family. People watched it with their mothers and grandmothers, and maybe their mother and grandmother had passed away, and they felt lost, you know, because we really, as soap actors, were friends with people and in their television and living rooms every day. And so that was upsetting me, but you know, at that time we all thought that the show was going to be going on to Prospect Park, and therefore it didn't feel so much like the end. We thought we were going to be trailblazing onto a new frontier with broadband, or at least the actors that were going on with it, and I felt good for them about that. But it was very sad. The other people were very sad, and that made me sad.
Of course, of course.
So, Lindsay, you know, speaking for the soap fans, we too were very upset with the, we won't say cancellation because we know it's going to come back, but so we'll just say the postponement of the show. I actually have a letter that was written on behalf of one of the soap saving groups, and they asked us to read it to you. So I'll do that right now. Okay. So it's, we at our soap saving groups, Boycott ABC7, have been fighting to keep our iconic soaps and our beloved actors on broadcast TV since the announcement of that both One Life to Live and All My Children were canceled. Both Denise and Yvonne, admins of Boycott ABC, have been working very hard with a positive approach and perspective in all we do to ensure that we can preserve all soaps and the entire genre. We're not giving up because this is important to us, and we are proud to be fighting for the genre, the actors, cast, and crew. We support Angus Nixon obtaining her creations back to the importance of her stories to continue. We thank you for listening to us. The importance of One Life to Live and All My Children being restored and keeping General Hospital on our TV is our biggest concern. And we will never give up. We must save the genre. We are proactive and are open to any suggestions that you may have. Thank you, Denise Kionis and Yvonne. Please join us at Boycott ABC 7. We especially thank you, Kat, for your enthusiasm and all your help with our soaps. SOSs, sorry.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you something. That letter just makes me want to cry because it's beautiful. But I will tell you that a few weeks ago, I was having dinner with a group of people. There were only 6 of us or so at the table. And 3 of these people were very important, very high executives at other networks.
Okay.
And they were not from the top 3, not from the big 3, but they're not so, ABC, and CBS, but they were from very big, very, very important cable channels. And they were the vice presidents and the vice chairman of these companies. And when we started to talk about the soaps and the end of them, they shared with me that they were all keeping a very close eye on what was happening with the fans. Right. And the fans being in such an uproar, and they are continuing to to them, it's very interesting to see something they've never seen in the history of television, which is a revolt and a revolution, if you will, the fans about losing their soaps. So what I would say to them is that, by God, believe me, you're being heard and you're being noticed by very powerful people. And I know this because I was with them, talked about it with them extensively, and the more noise you continue to make, and the more that you go out there and continue to fight for your show, I think you have a chance of resurrecting them.
Wow.
The problem right now is the rights seem to be tied up. So, but please don't let that be something that stops you from using your voice. That's you right. have a voice. You're being heard. Keep going, and I will be here at the forefront, and I will be your face. Just know that you can reach me. You know how. You reach me on Facebook, Twitter, and and I will help as much as I can. So I just think what you're doing is fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, you just answered Linda Greco's question about what you will do to help save the soaps. Linda Greco is the operation manager here at the studio, and she's a big fan of yours. So she told me to ask you that specifically, and you just answered that. So thank you very much. Okay, and I want to read a tweet of yours, and it's a rather long tweet. I guess this must have been a couple of tweets. And it says, yes, well, that was the plan, wasn't it? Isn't that what you have been doing with all of your character assassinating and lame storytelling? Isn't that what you've been doing, micromanaging your producers, writers, and staff to insanity? Business 101 teaches that you hire super competent people and let them do their job. Control freaks find this nearly impossible, which is why they ultimately fail. It's pure arrogance to think that you know what the audience will accept on shows that they knew far, far better than you. They didn't accept mediocrity, and for that the viewers were punished. What's wrong with this picture? Who are you speaking about, Catherine?
Well, I was speaking about the then president of ABC, and I was very vocal about that because it was apparent to me that, you have to understand that this genre is different from any other part of television, and you are in a very tight-knit relationship with your audience, and that you cannot force feed what you think they want to see. They're not going to take it. It's just not that kind of audience. And I thought it was an arrogant gesture to actually say in an interview that he would teach the audience what they wanted. I don't remember exactly what it was, but something about them teaching the audience what they want to see. And I just thought that was outrageous because Agnes Nixon knows what the audience wants to see. And so for me, she had a great line, Agnes Nixon, that was famous for her. She was famous for it. Make them laugh, make them cry, make them wait. And that was a very famous Agnes Nixon-ism that's true to this day. And that's what continuing storyline telling is all about, which is why you saw all of the genre of daytime move into nighttime on Grey's Anatomy, other shows that had continuing drama. And, was able, but because they had the money and they had, the support. But we're the ones who started that, and we did it fine, too. It's just that you cannot come and dictate who you think people want to see.
Exactly.
And I think both groups are also a waste of time and money. And I just felt like, I don't mean to sound arrogant, but I felt like I did know what people wanted because I was always in the Midwest and all the big cities and everywhere, and my travels every weekend is owning a company and personal appearances. I'm a stage hypnotist. I'm in the middle of Middle America constantly, and they're always telling me what they want. And so for me, I always offered to say, do you want to hear the feedback? Because this is the feedback from your viewers.
Right.
And New York City and Los Angeles are not, you so much where your viewers are. Viewers there, yes, but the middle of America is,
right,
is the bulk of our viewers. But they did not care, and that was fine. But you cannot make an audience like what you like. It doesn't work that way. It's like going to a store and the buyer of the store only puts in the store what she likes.
True.
You have to make it your business to go out and find out what your audience wants. And there's ways of doing that they didn't do.
True. Now, Catherine, I also know that you are very passionate about what you do and for your soap fans. You've been a great supporter of the protest for saving our soaps. And yes, by doing that, you have earned undying respect from your soap fans. So when One Life to Live come back, they're going to come back. The first scene, we want to see. Our girl, Lindsay. We want to see you in the first episode. Because we remember Nora said that she's going to speak to the judge. So we want to see you in the scene talking to the judge and the judge freeing our girl, Lindsay.
We're writing the first scene, right?
So you hear that, writers? We're putting that out there. The soap fans want to see Lindsay. Okay? Listen to us, writers. We want you back, Lindsay.
You're so cute.
I just want to bring it back a little bit to the actual, on stage. So you have to learn your lines in one day, right? Is that true?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What is this? Something you had to train for? You had to practice? How do you do that? Because I could barely.
Yeah, because we had an interview with Deacon who.
Sean Cannon.
Yeah,
and he said that you have to learn it in one day.
He said the hardest workers are soap actors.
Yes, that you have to learn your lines.
You get your script same day, and is that true? Because he was like, y'all one of the hardest workers on daytime TV.
The mind is a muscle, and if you use it, it's there for you. And so I started doing this when I was really young, and I found it difficult at first, but, everybody has their own little techniques. For me, writing the lines down helps to sink it into my head.
I did that in college.
Bob Woods used the same thing, and then saying the lines with the actors as much as you can before you hit the stage is really good. Especially when we were shooting 2 episodes a day, so you would just, I remember many walks to the set and just feeling anxiety because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to have 50 pages of dialogue in my head. I worked hard on it, and it was always there, always.
That's
amazing. They want it in one take, and the pressure of that is incredible. But you know what? That's what we do. That's what we're built for. That's what we love. And so it was easy because, it wasn't anything you would fight. You would allow your mind to relax and take in all that dialogue. And just like anything else in life, you just relax your mind, it'll be there for you. Trust your mind, you know?
True. Wow. Well, we commend you for all that hard work you put in on daytime.
Thanks.
We appreciate it. We love you.
Thank you.
No, I love you.
We're going to take a break right now.
Okay,
we're
sorry, I'm excited.
Right now. But we'll be right back with more from Catherine Hickland, better known as Lindsay, on One Life to Live. She's going to tell us more about her cosmetic line and much more. when we return. So don't go anywhere. You
That's
don't
right.
want to miss this. We'll be right back.
Talk about it. Let's talk about